Just a quick disclaimer before we start. Originally this video was going to be a guide to completing the event solo, but I wanted to talk more broadly about the event, so that's what this video is. I just don't want people coming in thinking that this is a quick, simple one-answer guide on how to win tower battles. It's not. I'm just yapping about a Roblox game I like. Oh, and also really quickly, I call modes things like quad op, co-op, etc. Enjoy. Yay, happy Halloween, hopefully. Tower Battles is a game I used to play all the time when I was younger. It's a tower defense Roblox game where you place down towers to defend yourself against zombies. I could go into more detail about towers, zombie types, strategies, and other basics of the game, but that's not what this video is about. We're not talking about the base game, we're talking about the 2023 Halloween event. Is something that you can still play because the game hasn't updated in close to 2 years. I'm not sure why the game hasn't updated in so long, but I also haven't really done that much research to find out because that's not what this video is about. Anyway, the Halloween event is a 1-map, 15-wave, very challenging game mode, only available in survival in either 1, 2, 3, or 4 players, which I refer to as modes. Usually versus games or survival games are a little challenging unless you're playing with friends and you've got down a good strategy. They also last 40 waves, but something this event and the non-event game do have in common is there's a final boss at the end that you need to kill to win. In versus, technically, there's only one side that can win, so even if you kill, the final boss is not over. After each wave survived, you get money, which you can use to upgrade towers or buy new ones, or send zombies if you're a horrible person in versus. You can also get money from damaging enemies, which is probably the main way that you're gonna get money. Grim is the final boss of this event. It has 700,000 health and can kill towers. I didn't know this the first time I got to wave 15, and I thought it was just a stun, but no. Your base has 500 health, which is way more than the 100 from the normal game, but it doesn't feel like it. It's kind of it, just survive. Okay, the first thing I want to get into is introducing the towers that I think are the most helpful for this event. So here's the gang. First, Commando, definitely Commando. It's a fast shooting tower and kills enemies fairly quickly. Next up is Aviator. It's like Commando, but it goes in circles and only shoots in front. Next is Cryo. It freezes enemies if they temporarily can't move. And last is Phaser, who shoots a beam that locks on and constantly does damage. There are other towers that I believe are great to have, but probably aren't completely necessary. Commander, Marksman, DJ, and Railgunner are just some that fall into this category. If you have teammates, it'll be good for your group to collectively have them. There are also towers that might be good, and I've seen people use them, I just don't know how to utilize them, like Mortar, Plasma, and Graveyard. But then there are towers that you should just never use, like Farms, Patrol, Zed. Please never use these. Now that we looked at the good guys, it's time to look at the bad guys. The first one that spawns is the Graveyard Zombie. It has 25 health, which is way more than the 4 health that normals spawn with. Mummies are next with 55 health. I could be wrong, but I think they walk slightly slower than Graveyards. By wave 4, we get Witches. I hate Witches. Then wave 5 is the first boss fight against a skeleton. It has 500 health, and the wave only ends when it dies. But you're not out of the woods yet, because next wave we have Ghosts. If you don't have hidden detection on at least some of your towers, it's done because they won't see them and they'll go right past. Next are the vampires with 180 health, oh my god. And they stun towers near where they die. Wave 8 we get Reapers and it has 1,200 health. We don't get any new enemies till wave 11, and that one is the Haunted Knight, which has 400 health. Next wave we get Wrath, a couple of Wraths actually, and they each have 2,200. Now you really want hidden detection if somehow you don't have it yet. Second to last wave, 2 Wendigo spawn, each with 8,000 health, and they run pretty fast, and Cryo doesn't seem to do much to it. And last wave, Grim with 700,000 health. But also Grim spawns a new enemy called Giant Cursed, so that's technically the last new enemy. It has 2,000 health, so it's not too much this late in the game, but it's enough to be an annoyance. Alright. Now that we talked about the bad guys, let's talk about the good guys. But the less good guys. The ones you really shouldn't use, like... Oh my god! Zed is arguably the best tower in the game. I'm not kidding. It rides on the board and shoots at enemies in range, and when it finally reaches an enemy, it deals massive damage. But because it's so great, it's also very expensive. This is why it's probably the worst for the event. You only spawn with $1,000. If you're in quad op, then you're gonna have to wait 10 waves of doing nothing and hoping that your team can survive on their own. They can't, before you can get enough money to buy one. Remember that clip I showed of Zed having tons of health that damages enemies? That's the last upgrade. It takes $82,300 to get there. You aren't gonna get it by the time it matters. But what if I don't upgrade, I hear you asking? And to that I say it only spawns with 480 health. By wave 10, you're already getting enemies that can one-hit Zed and still walk. But to be fair, this is worst case scenario. In solo, you get more money so you can get Zed by wave 6. So is it worth it in solo then? Probably not. With a cooldown of spawning a new Zed every 46 seconds, it just isn't worth it in any mode. Is what I would have said before I did the calculations. It's actually even worse in solo. You cannot tank damage until wave 5 ends. You just don't have enough health. I mentioned earlier that the giant skeleton spawns wave 5 and it has 500 health. Exactly how much health your base has. So even if you somehow survive to wave 5 by doing nothing, it's done once skeleton is on the board. Okay, next tower. Patrol sucks too. Not as much as Zed because of the price, but it's also a board walker, board traveler. I don't know what to call these guys that actually go on the path and touch zombies. The wiki calls them spawners, but I don't like that, so I'm just gonna call them board walkers. Anyway, the patrols do way less damage than Zed, but they also cost less, so, you know, they still suck. They have this cool explosion thing that does 20 damage to the surrounding enemies when it dies, but this is also the 3rd upgrade, so by now you've spent 1,200 on it. And don't even ask about not upgrading, because it only does 30 damage per hit. That's only enough to take out 1 enemy. And if you only upgrade it once, it can almost take out 3 enemies. Ooh, because now it does 70 damage. And you can max it out if you spend $9,600, including the price of placing the tower itself. But again, there's just not enough money by then. It does do 800 damage when maxed, but that's just not good enough. I made the mistake of using Patrol when I first played the event. Turns out Patrol just phases right through Ghost, which is the whole reason why I placed it. Yeah, I thought Ghost had less health, no one on my team had hidden detection on any of our towers, and I thought Patrol was good to take him out, like in a normal game with ninjas. But no, it sucked, they just zoomed right through. And they would just fly over Patrol, so it's really pointless. Last, and definitely least, farms. Farms are great because they're the only, way to get a little extra cash at the end of each wave. They are 300 to place, which isn't bad at all, and give $50 at the end of each wave. But there's only 15 waves, so only $750. That's nothing. Yeah, okay, so place more. $600 for 2 farms, that's $1,500. Again, not that much considering you spawned with 1,000, so you can upgrade them. Here's where the math gets a little more nuanced, because you're not going to be only farming. The point is to use that money on your towers, and there are many different combinations that you can have with amount of farms, amount each one is upgraded, towers placed for farm, and end of wave money, stuff like that. But bottom line, for farms to be worth it in such a short waved game, I would say that they'd have to be at least upgraded 3 times to give you $500 a wave, or max to give you $1,500 a wave. But both of these upgrades are so much money. Alone, the 3rd upgrade is $1,200, and the 4th upgrade is $4,800. The payoff isn't worth how much it costs. So you might think getting 1 farm and not upgrading it is worth it, because you can make back the $300 you spent on it by the start of wave 7. And then the rest of the game you have $50 a wave. But that, $450 really won't do much for you. You'd be better off wasting a tower placement for Commando or something that'll deal damage and still give you money. Speaking of which, let's get into the good towers now. Also, I don't think I explained this, but the reason why I said wasting a tower placement is because you can only place a certain amount of towers on the board, but it's different for each mode. Anyway, Commando is a great tower both in the non-event game and event. With a placement price of $1,850, it's fairly cheap considering you start with 1,000. And if you're playing solo, you can save up and place one by wave 2. Because of how relatively cheap it is and fast firing, it's kind of the main way to damage enemies. Also, maxed out, it does a ton of damage, so that's also helpful late game. If you're playing with teammates, I would definitely recommend everyone has a Commando or a Phaser. Just some way for everyone to do consistent damage. Phaser was another one I put in the necessary pile. It has a charge feature, which means that when it's locked onto a target for longer, it does more damage. This is why it's so good late game. You'll have enemies with tons of health, and sometimes faster ones will pass the enemies with more health, leaving them to take all the bullets, and the enemies that should also preferably be taking damage to sit in the back and spawn more enemies. Phaser counters this by locking onto one target until it dies or until the Phaser is stunned and has to relock onto the first target. So it's a good setup to have phasers, hopefully it doesn't always work out, lock on to slower and usually heavier enemies, while Commando deals with faster enemies, and help deal with the ones phasers are locked onto when available. I'm getting ahead of myself, strategy stuff for later. Cryos, like I said, freeze most enemies in place for a short time. Only one map that's kind of short, you need as much time as you can get, and cryos allow for that. That's why I put them in the necessary category. It might be possible to do it without them, but later in the game, there's lots of enemies that have lots of health, and, like the Wendigo, move very quickly. Having extra time is always helpful in how I view it, necessary to beating the game on such a short map. If you've played tower battles, you know how important a long, preferably windy map is. If you play any non-event game, you'll see everyone veto during the map votes until Borderland shows up, because it's the longest map. Cryo is like an artificial way to get a long map. And next, Aviator. It's very similar to Commando, so why not just use Commando, especially when this one goes in circles. 1, it's cheaper by 1,000, and 2, it has the secret ability, where by upgrading 2 times, every tower in its area can see hiddens. This is probably the most important ability in the game. I also don't think I explained this, sorry, but the detect hiddens ability is originally in the game for these ninja guys and some other enemies later, where you need to upgrade towers to a certain level to be able to attack them. I think it's just the game's way of making it so you don't spam towers. There are some towers that just automatically have hidden detection though. Like I said earlier, the whole reason why I used Patrol one of my first times playing was because in the non-event game, any boardwalkers deal damage to all hidden enemies that they impact, because they have to come in contact with them eventually. But they didn't come in contact with the ghosts, so it didn't work. Whatever. Phaser is a tower that automatically has hidden detection, and I can't think of any other ones, but I believe there are some. But there are also towers which are like the opposite, and they can never be upgraded to hidden detection. Cryo is one of these, which is just another reason why AV is really helpful to have. Plus, it only takes 1,700 to get hidden detection on AV, not including the 850 it takes to place it. Commander and DJ are both support towers that are made to help out surrounding towers. Immediately when placed, Commander gives surrounding towers a range boost, and DJ gives surrounding towers a fire rate boost. Both towers can be upgraded, which helps more, except for Commander. Eventually, upgrades stop helping surrounding towers, and instead it gets abilities to spawn stuff in. Because of this, I personally don't think it's worth to max out Commander, because these abilities, while helpful because you can use them at any time, assuming they are on cooldown, aren't worth the money it takes to upgrade. DJ, on the other hand, is very helpful when maxed out. Mainly it's just more boosts and higher discounts, but one ability might be good. I don't really know how to use it, but what you do is you click on it, and all the enemies start dancing. So it's kind of like Cryo's freezing ability, but longer and I think board wide. But just know that it doesn't work on some enemies. I think Grim is one of these. Marksman and Railgunner I added to this list because they're another way to do damage. Railgunners can be placed on hills. I think the wiki calls them cliffs, but they don't have to be hills or cliffs. It's just places that are high up. I feel like this sort of limits your strategies with them because there's only a set amount of places where they can go. And I haven't ever used them for event, but I would recommend placing them here or here. I also haven't used marksmen, but I have played games where my teammates have used them, and they do seem to do helpful damage, especially when upgraded, although I don't really think 7,800 is worth it for the last upgrade. And I feel like you could be spending on upgrading towers that do more damage, but I don't know. And honestly, marksman might fall into this mid-tower category that I have, but Motar definitely falls into this category. Splash damage is pretty helpful, but I personally think it doesn't really pair well with phasers. If there are 2 enemies and mortar hits them both, let's say for like a third of their health, phaser is doing damage to the first one and kills it, and it has its cooldown before it can lock onto the second one. And by this point, let's say the mortar hit it again, so it's now at 1/3 of its health. By the time that phaser locks on and kills it, it has to have kind of a long cooldown again, but at the same time, without the mortar, they would both have been at a higher health, so it would have taken longer to kill them. Or if like commandos were used, phasers would have just done less damage because the first one would die quicker. So I don't know, it might be good, especially when there's a lot and they're all upgraded to a good level. I don't know what level that would be because I don't use them for the event, but whatever, just kind of high. But yeah, their splash damage is probably helpful. Plasma is nice because like mortar, it can do damage to multiple enemies at once. Again, I saw it used once, so it might be good, I don't know. If you do use it though, definitely upgrade. I would say at least 3 times. Graveyard is the last one. I don't like it. I want to like it, I don't like it. It's so expensive and it does no damage. It's a boardwalker, one like the Zed and Patrol. but it has way less of a cooldown time than either of them, so that's nice. It spawns a skeleton every 20 seconds, that's also nice, but it only does 12 damage each skeleton. 12! That's not even enough to do half of the lowest enemy's health. And the upgrades aren't too much better. On the third upgrade, you get a bigger skeleton that's on its own cooldown of 40 seconds. It does 150 damage, which is way more than 12, but for 1,400, it's just a lot. I was talking about it with someone once, and they said that they thought Graveyard isn't really helpful till it's maxed out, and honestly, I kind of agree with that. It's 40,000 for the last upgrade, but the last upgrade spawns Jack every 100 seconds, which does 10,000 damage, which is crazy. Also, there's one more upgrade before Jack, which spawns a Knight every 45 seconds that does 600 damage, which isn't horrible, but again, the enemies you're going against have way more health. One thing I don't know is if any of the guys that spawns walk through ghosts or not, which would make them really suck until the Jack upgrade. But I don't know how to feel about it. I think there's a possibility it can be good. And it's also kind of neat because you get it from either beating the event or just playing it. I can't remember. Oh! Wait, I just looked Oh, wait, I just looked at the wiki. You can also buy it from the shop. And that's probably how I got it, because I was thinking, I swear I've only beaten the event once, and I already had Graveyard by then. Oh! Also, I just looked at the wiki again, and it looks like each Boardwalker's damage gets doubled. So yeah, never mind. It actually maxed out might be extremely helpful. Okay, strategy time. I started trying to find a way to beat the event solo, and I still haven't found a way. But there was a strat I used to do to farm candy, which is the currency you get from playing the event. Oh, I also forgot to explain this, but you can use it to buy Halloween towers, or used to be able to buy Halloween skins. This old strat involved only commandos, and it kind of sucked. I would only get to wave 8 before the vampires would kill me. Honestly, it was kind of nice. I would just sit down, listen to Magnus Archives, and mindlessly do the same thing for hours. So here's that strat. Hey, what's up? Yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, so first thing that I used to do is place it about right here, my commando. Okay, sorry. So you cannot place it now. Stupid. So when the zombies, or those graveyards, whatever, when they reach the gate, that's about when the wave ends. So that's when you can place it. So you don't have to start spamming now, but you know, there. And if I did the placement right, there's enough space here. Sometimes I got it. A couple of times I would get it to where there's like a tiny little line there. And then now you just wait until this guy and is not spawned in yet. No, I'm sorry. This guy and this guy are both around here-ish is when the wave, not when the wave ends, but when you can place another one. So these two guys in the back, they will be here-ish. I usually start spamming when they get around to right here, just because I don't want to risk it. And then start spamming. And then bang, wave ends. So now that I have two, the reason why I put this one down first is because you get the range of all of this, compared to if you just place this guy down, you barely get any range this whole time they have to walk. So now that witches are spawning, I can place another one. I think this witch goes right here. So the first witch dies, then when the second witch goes, I either place it right here, I can't really remember. So that first witch, yep, see, and then the one that makes it through the arc, whatever, this thing. All of these guys die, all of these guys die. If the placement was done correctly, this guy should die before the witch reaches. Okay, yeah, and then the witches start dying. This one, I think it's at 2 health. 4 health, okay. And then the next commando placement is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When this guy either dies or when this guy is at like half health, when they start attacking this guy. And bang. Nice. So now this guy dies here-ish. And just for fun, I usually just sit here and then wave when it dies. I don't know why, I just get bored. And right. Ah, I messed up. Whatever, it's fine. Sometimes if I have like really good placement, it'll die here-ish. If I kind of like take time with my placements, it'll die around here. It doesn't really matter. What matters though is the ghosts start to come up. So what I need to do is I need to upgrade this guy. Because the ghosts come up, I need to upgrade this guy twice to get hidden detection. because someone needs to have hidden detection. I usually just do this guy. But then also witches spawn, so it doesn't really do too much. It just kind of damages the ghosts. This guy is the next to be upgraded to hidden detection. And I believe it's when the ghosts are in this area. I kind of forgot, it's been a while. Yeah, so all the witches die, and then spam because the wave ended, and then hidden detection. So now 2 people are focusing on the ghosts. This is when things start to go horrible. Usually, I think what I do is I place a commando here. I kind of forgot, because at this point, what I would also do is I would just sell, because this is when I was trying to get the most candy, so I didn't want to waste time on this wave, because this is like, once this wave ends, it's wave 8, and there's no way I'm beating the vampires. So what I would do is once all of those guys die, I would just sell these commandos, just to make the wave end faster, because this vampire dies. I don't think this vampire dies, but you know, see, like, it doesn't matter. I can place commando here, I can upgrade. It doesn't matter what I do from now on, these vampires will get through. So yeah, what I would do is I would just sell all my towers so that the vampires could get through quicker, so that I can load up another game quicker, so that I can get more money faster. Yeah, so that was the old strategy. You only get to wave 8, and I just used to run that back over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until I had enough money to buy the gravestone farm skin, and I didn't even know that I couldn't buy it. See, look, 18. Look at that. Wow, I have enough, but I can't buy it because it's too late. Whoa! I talked about some of the strategies you can do earlier when explaining the towers, but here's where I put it all together. I don't really have a strategy. I mean, I tried to play some games solo to see if I could beat it, but it's really hard. I'm trying to implement my strategies and work through it, but at the end of the day, it does come down to trial and error, which is a process that can take 10 games or 100 games. But I want this video out by Halloween, and I'm usually bad at meeting deadlines, so I can't really spend more time trying to figure out how to beat it solo. I know the Wiki has a strategy segment that I've been purposefully avoiding because I want to share my own thoughts, but I might want to do a part 2 or something where I can like really try to beat it solo. Anyway, here's the best strategy I have right now. What's up? Back again. Okay, so for this one, it actually does kind of matter where you... What was I saying? Okay, it does kind of matter about how you place the first one, this guy, because you have enough money to get plain with the money that you get from the beginning. So what you do is you place plain here. I kind of just gauge it off of those little blue things, and if they look kind of even on each side, then I think that it's a good enough placement, and bang. So that's like kind of even. It's a little off, but whatever. I do it frame 1 just because I don't know if it's the best strategy, but it's just like constant, so I can at least try to do stuff. But that's also kind of the thing with this strategy, is there's less consistency with it. So like, see, it's gonna like barely tap that guy. So what I thought before was to wait a little bit so that the plane can hit him on a different cycle and do more damage. But that kind of works. Oh wait, also, once this wave ends, you want to upgrade. So that happens. But this one strategy has a little less consistency because of the bombs with aviator. You know, with commandos, you're just doing damage, and it's when you place it, where you place it, and that pretty much is the only thing. So there's not a ton of differences when you play different games. But with this one, there are more differences, is what I'm trying to say. So again, same commando placement. This one might look a little better. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. Let's go. So if I did it good enough, yeah, see, that's kind of the sliver of more of what you want. I don't think I get enough money, but just in case I do, I'm gonna just hold it here. There's no way I have enough. Okay, yeah. And I'm just spamming it, and there. Okay, so now I have 2 commandos. And then this is just to have like constant damage, more damage being done. And then once I get enough, I place commander. So now you can see the range boost stuff. Hold on, I gotta upgrade this. Bang, so now they're doing damage faster. And as you can see, I'm already doing like way more progress. Like, we just got the boss and I have 2 commandos, a commander, and a plane. So now what I do is I just wait until these guys die, and then I upgrade plane to level 3. Right. And it doesn't really matter, that one doesn't have to be like frame perfect, because right, as you can see, it's not doing any damage. And the skeleton died way sooner. So now the next thing that I do is, I actually don't know, because this is when it gets kind of like annoying and weird. And I haven't tried it enough times. Also, the people that get hidden detection are in this range. So usually what I do is, I messed up. It's fine. So usually what I do is I place cryos here, here, and here. Vampires spawn in. That's usually when I start placing cryos. So like right now. Except actually no, you know what I do? I wait until the witches go, because they're annoying and I hate witches. And then bang. So these guys have hidden detection, and I just upgrade them once because, you know. These guys have hidden detection. This one doesn't because it's outside of the range, as you can see. So that kind of sucks. Maybe that's this one. And either here or here, I think I just do this. Upgrade, 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 upgrade. Then what I do is I just kind of come over here, and this is when things start to get messy and I mess up, and it's fine. This is usually the one that I max out, just so that it has a higher range and you can kind of reach these first. Because I haven't really like formulated this strategy, but as you can see, it's wave 8 and I'm already doing better. So I think usually I just kind of mess around. I don't know, it's really hard. I did the old strategy more times than I've done this strategy, so when I place down the 3 commandos, it gets kind of wonky and I just start doing like whatever I think is good. I don't really think about it, I just kind of start doing stuff. I would like to place phaser, but it's not really good this early on, I think. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you know what, let's do more commandos. I need a bunch of witches, everything sucks, and this is around the time when I die, wave 10-ish. As you can see, cryos are really helpful, because look at how long it's taking these guys to get through. This run is over, but as you can see, I got to wave 10, like that's higher, and it looks like I've done more progress. Like, I have way more towers, I'm doing more damage, and these guys don't even have hidden detection, so it's, you know, it's really just over. These guys don't have hidden detection either, that kind of sucks. I don't really know how to counter that, or at least this guy doesn't. I was thinking once about putting a plane here, but there's just, you can't, and there's not enough space, it just doesn't work out. It looks, like the circle looks bad. So yeah, that's that. Got to wave 10. So yeah, that's it. You get a little more money. 25 instead of 18. Look at that. Yay. I also tried a game with plasma troopers, because I just recently found out that they get hidden detection immediately when placed. So that could open some possibilities for strategies. But yeah, I don't know if it's even possible to be solo or not. With other people, there's lots of leeway, so not every placement needs to be perfect. But with solo, it seems like every decision holds a lot of weight. This kind of sucks because you only get more money in solo and no other help. You're still limited in towers that can be placed, and health of the enemies stay the same, and you still only have 5 towers to choose from at most. I can't remember, but I think there's an upgrade you can buy to unlock a 5th tower slot. And sure, the amount of towers you can place does change depending on how many people we're playing with. I think it's 18 for solo. 25! But it still doesn't seem like enough. And again, if you're playing with people, just try your best. Everyone is going to have a different idea or play in their mind, so there's no point of trying to find the best times and placements for the perfect towers. If I had to give basic pointers, I would say definitely one person place plane, where I place it in the new solo strat clip. Oh, and because it's with other people, no matter what, you will get less money than solo. So that person just needs to laser focus on upgrading it to level 3. No other tower placements until it's there. Unlike in my most recent strategy where I wait a little bit to finally get it to level 3. Also, place commandos and phasers where I placed commandos in both solo clips. You can get the most reach out of these towers if you do this, and with commander you can get even more reach. If you played the game before, use some combination of the towers I've talked about and a little common sense and have good teammates, and you might beat it, or at least get close to beating it before the Wendigos kill you. Also, another thing, don't spam commandos. It might seem like a good strategy to have constant heavy damage, but I don't actually know why, it just doesn't work. I played a game where someone said not to spam them and we lost that game. So I trust that guy, I guess. I think instead, place like 2 or 3 commandos and then the rest phasers. I believe you do more damage like that. Also, I changed my mind about the phaser and mortar combo being bad. I think it's actually kind of good, because phasers can lock onto a high health enemy, and mortars, when fully or highly upgraded, can damage tons of enemies at once, so killing the lower health enemies, which is why I said to place a couple commandos, because in my head they would do this. And then when the high health enemy dies, then phasers can just lock onto the next high health enemy. As you can see, I'm kind of just rambling. There's lots of nuances and things you can't prepare for, so honestly it might just be taking everything I said earlier and trying to find out what works best. I believe it also helps to do it with friends or people that are on the same page or something, so you can actually develop a strategy. So that's it. Don't think the game's gonna ever update again, but I could be wrong. Still mad that I can't get the Pumpkin Patch Farm skin. I really want it. I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but it's been on my mind the whole time I've been making this video. I even set my computer time back before the event technically ended, and I still can't get it. Please comment if you have your own strategies or have towers that you think are really good. That's another reason why I made this video. It's fun to see what other people think could work, or if they actually have strategies that do work. So please don't hesitate to comment. Last comment I got was 2 years ago, and I need that human connection, please. Also, there are exclusive towers, which means that you can't buy them through the store. Usually you earn them some way, and these might be towers that are extremely helpful, but I don't know because I only have 2 exclusive and one literally does 1 damage. So yeah, I'm not using that. Okay, bye.